I would never make a song that everybody agreed with, because how do you do that? You do that by making songs that don't say anything. And if no one's challenged in any way possible, there's no way you can be misinterpreted, and there's no way anyone could build up enough emotions to react.
Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. It's the makeshift, the Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself. Via live telecast, coming live from my own funeral. Beautiful weather offered a night shine, which is suitable for a full view of a forever altered skyline. When times like these arise, I freestyle biased opinions every other sentence. Journalist ethics slip when I pass them off as objective. Don't give me that ethical ish. I've got exclusive explicit images to present to impressionable American kids, and it's time to show this world how big our edifice is. That's exactly what they attacked when a typically dark-skinned Disney villain used civilians against civilians and charged the Trojan horses into our building, using commercial aviation as instruments of destruction. Pregnant women couldn't protect their children. Wheelchairs were stairway obstruction. Now I have to backpedal from the shower of glass and metal, wondering how after it settles we'll find who provided power to radical rebels. The melting pot seems to be calling the kettle black when it boils over, but only on our own soil. So the little boy holds a toy soldier and waits for the suit and tie to come home. We won't wait till he's older before we destroy hopes for a colder war to end. I get a close-up of his head. Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast.
How does my hair look?
Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast.
Run that tape back!
Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast.
It looks just like a movie.
It's the makeshift, the Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself while the stock markets crash. The city is covered in inches of muck. I see some other pictures of victims are up. Grieving mothers are thinking their children are stuck. Leaping lovers are making decisions to jump while holding hands to escape the brutal heat, sometimes in groups of three. The fallout goes far beyond the toxic clouds where people look like debris. But all they saw after all was said, beyond the talking heads, was the bloody dust with legs looking like the walking dead calling for meds. But all the hospitals are overwhelmed. Volunteers need to go the hell home. Moments of silence for firefighters were interrupted by cell phones. Who's gonna make that call to increase an unknown death toll? It's the one we rally behind. He's got a megaphone and he's promising to make heads roll. We cheer him on, but asbestos is affecting our breath control. The less that we know, the more they fabricate, the easier it is to sell souls.
There is a new price on freedom, so buy into it while supplies last. Changes need to be made. No more curbside baggage. 7 p.m. curfew. Racial profiling will continue with less bitching. We've unified over who to kill, so until I find more relevant scripture to quote, remember, our God is bigger, stronger, smarter, and much wealthier. So wave those flags with pride, especially the white part.
We're selling addictive 24-hour candlelight vigils in TVs. Freedom will be defended at the cost of civil liberties. The viewers are glued to television screens, stuck, cause lots of things seem too sick. I use opportunities to pluck heartstrings for theme music. I show you which culture to pump your fist at, which foot is right to kiss. We don't really know who the culprit is yet, but he looks like this. We know who the heroes are, they're not the xenophobes who act hard. We taught that dog to squat, how dare he do that ish in our own backyard. They happen to scar our financial state and char our landscape. Can you count how many times so far I ran back the same damn tape while the cameraman creates news and shoves it down our throats on the West Bank with a 10-second clip put on constant loop to provoke US angst. So get your tanks and load your guns and hold your sons in a family huddle, cause even if we win this tug of war and even the score, humanity struggles. There's a desperate need of blood for what's been uncovered under the rubble. Some of them dug for answers in the mess, but the rest were looking for trouble. Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. Makeshift Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. It's the makeshift, the Patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself.
Don't wave your rights with your flags.
ago, I heard a song that deeply resonated with me in articulating my frustration with media and politics. That song was called Makeshift Patriot. It was written by an incredibly talented hip-hop artist named Sage Francis. I have to talk about the song because that's what turned me on to you, Makeshift Patriot, back right after 9/11. You wrote the song a month after 9/11. You released it the same exact day. It's talking about everything from the media analysis to the US funding terrorism in the past. How the hell were you so prescient and you did not get sucked up into that patriotic fervor so soon?
I was kind of still fresh out of university. I graduated with a degree in journalism, never pursued it, but at least they taught me the ethics of journalism. So then when I saw how the story was being presented, not only did it just kind of like, the red lights were blinking, like something was wrong. The way they were presenting the story was wrong. The way people around me were talking was wrong. It's like people were just nasty and very scared. And I was scared too. I mean, I remember being very scared. But I was scared of not like a Muslim terrorist mostly. Like I was scared of what people were doing around me. I wanted to document the fear of the whole thing, of everything. Because I know those moments get washed away. I think history gets rewritten so often. I was like waiting for someone else to come out with the song. I was like, who's gonna speak on it? But everyone was just waving the flags, and it was the echo chamber of you know, what was being said on TV, and I felt it was wrong. I always thought it was hip hop's place to be that other voice, to be the alternative, and to speak some sense into a confusing or wrong situation. So that was my inspiration. Obviously hip hop taught me that coming up, but my experience with journalism also showed me another angle, so I wanted to like address that in the song and not have it be about 9/11 per se, but that's part of it. But it was
culture,
journalism
yeah.
as a whole, media as a whole, and culture as a whole, the fear-driven populists who just were like willing to do anything, the shock doctrine stuff. Yeah.
No, it really spoke to me, and thank you for writing. I know that it was deemed really controversial, which is insane because all you're doing is dropping these hard truths that no one else wanted to really speak
at that
about.
time, I was
at that time.
wondering what was going to happen.